Hello folks, shintigercurl here, that dude in the straw hat, bringing you yet another wrestling review. I'm of course joined by my faithful cohort and associate, Joe. Say hi, Joe. He's a little mad after last night. Well, why would I say mad last night? Well, because apparently my video was too long for YouTube and they deleted it. And unfortunately I had deleted it off my computer. So it wasn't until much later that I found out. So to all my people out there expecting a lockdown pay-per-view review, I'm sorry. And hopefully this one would do you a little bit better. And why is that? Because it's time for Raw, live from London, England. So, is it any good? Got my notes. Let's get started. R-Truth comes out, boasting and bragging about how he had his world title opportunity that's coming up in 2 weeks at Extreme Rules. And of course the crowd's not buying it. I myself, and like many others, do not like R-Truth and to feel that he doesn't. The only reason he got this is because of the backstage heat with Jomo. Speaking of the sexy, Darth Sexy John Morrison comes out and he gets into R-Truth's face, pretty much saying that he won only by luck, because if it wasn't for Miz and Alex Riley interfering, as well as the new Nexus beating up on Randy, he would not have this chance. And R-Truth is like, oh yeah dog, I know what you're planning. You want me to fight me in a match so that I can lose my spot to you. I'm like, that's right. You had a lot of luck and a lot of water, because he showed earlier last week that before Cena came out, he was drinking water. Not good for your cardio, my friend. And he also that he smokes. It's not good either. So he accepts the match. And we get our first matchup, John Morrison versus R-Truth, which is a pretty good match, considering they're both really talented in the ring. They've been in the ring with each other enough times to know each other's moves and whatnot. But in the end, it was the sexy that came out. That's right. So now, like it should be, John Cena versus The Miz versus the sexy John Morrison in a steel cage match, as we learned tonight. Truth is of course disappointed, and then he takes his time to go heel out. And I will say this, for as much hate as I give John Morrison, this is perhaps one of the best heel turns in a long time. I mean, at first when he started attacking Morrison, he was like, "Oh man, what did I do?" You knew you kind of saw in his face like, I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry, but you brought it on yourself, and just started beating him. And then afterwards, he just started getting ghetto mad. For those who don't know, when ghetto mad hits, it's where you just think about, I can't believe this shit. I can't believe this shit. Actually get on my nerves. And he actually borrowed a fag off someone in the audience. A fag is a British euphemism for cigarette. So he gets a cigarette, lights it up, and blows the smoke right in Jomo's face. I will say this is a good move for Truth, because he really wasn't getting over as a face, as you could clearly hear from the fans. They didn't want him and they didn't like him, but this got him over more than he was as a face. So hopefully we'll stop seeing some rapping gimmicks and start seeing some life out of the guy. So good for you, Truth. Next match, Evan Bourne versus the new Dolph Ziggler, who finally got that bleach crap out of his head. Sure, it made him look like Mr. Perfect, but damn it, it just didn't look tacky. And he got back to his original hair color, which makes him look astonishingly like Randy Orton. Well, enough about looks. Basically, it's a very good match. Ziggler's ground technical style was a perfect fit for Bourne's high-flying aerial assaults, but it wasn't enough. He went for his shooting star press, but Ziggler moved out the way. He landed on his feet, and Ziggler hit him from behind with the zigzag. 1, 2, 3. Ziggler wins. Next up, The Miz comes out, complaining that he was getting that the fact that John Morrison is now in the world title match, he can't prepare for it, since that he doesn't really need to get pinned or he doesn't or anything to really lose the match. So he's going to stay in the ring until the Raw general manager changes things. And this was a perfect time for the man, the myth, the awe of Sin Cara. And for the first time, he doesn't botch his entrance. I mean, it looked fucking beautiful. So, we have a match. Alex Riley versus Sin Cara. So, just when it looks like we're going to have a match, John Cena bores his way in, and the Raw general manager makes it a tag match between between Cena and Sin Cara versus A-Rye and The Miz. Now, this was a test for Sin Cara to see if he can truly hang. I mean, he's in there with two main eventers and Alex Riley. So, I mean, we're trying to see how well he did, and he did pretty well. He did some botches, but the way Sin Cara does his moves, even his botches look beautiful. I can't explain it. That's just how it is. I mean, they look fucking beautiful to look at. Even the botches look better, and the fans were popping more for Sin Cara than they were for Cena. Shows you how well this guy is getting over. Very good match. Sin Cara really showed what he could do out there, but he was going a little bit too fast for A-Rye and The Miz, who are not used to his type of lucha libre style of wrestling. So there were a few botches. They couldn't keep up with him, or he couldn't tone it back a little. But still, either way, it was a good match. Sin Cara gets the win, and that's how we ended. Next up, Eve. But Eve faces one of the Bella twins. Who gives a fuck? But before that, we get an awesome Kong promo. So Bella twins, Eve, all you sticks with tits, just a warning. Kong's going to kill you. See? Kong's going to kill you. There's that. But anyway, match was so-so. Eve wins, and Michael Cole immediately buries her in time for his he'll be induction, or whatever you want to call it. He'll be knighted by the Queen of England, which we know will never happen. So he gets in the ring, and he calls out Jack Swagger. And he is brown-nosing Swagger's ass like nobody's business. His nose is way up there. I thought they were going to break down and make out. I mean, I never seen him get that touchy-feely with someone unless his name was The Miz. I was half expecting him to start blowing him in front of the audience. Well, the Knot Queen comes out, and she does not knight him, and he's now Sir Michael Cole. Fuck you, Cole. But anyway, he calls Jerry and JR peasants, calls them in the ring to kiss his feet. Inevitable brawl breaks out. JR gets put in the ankle lock and is forced to kiss Michael Cole's disgusting feet. I'd rather kiss Vince's ass. And Vince's ass can do tricks. And Joe agrees with me. He's actually kissed his ass before. You have. Anyway, next matchup. Santino Marella versus Sheamus. And Sheamus pretty much says that he remembers the last time they were in England, he made a complete fool out of Sheamus. So Sheamus beats his ass like nobody's business and wins. But all throughout the night, they were teasing that next Monday is the WWE Draft. Now the draft is probably one of the biggest events to happen on televised wrestling. It's where each show kind of draws to see who they can raid from the other show. So you never know who you'll see on Raw or SmackDown going to either one. So you never know. A lot of people saying Sheamus should go to SmackDown. I don't know. Last match. Return match from WrestleMania. Randy Orton versus CM Punk. Now I was ready to call. Their match at WrestleMania was good, but this one was far better. I say that because the crowd reaction, it was decidedly split for some reason. That's what I say about British fans. The British fans are nothing but smarks. They know who to cheer and who not to cheer. And they both loved Randy Orton and CM Punk, and they put on a hell of a match. It was much more physical and very psychological. I mean, these two are the masters of mind games, and it shows here. It was like an integral physical chess match. I could see the gears working in their heads, like, is he going to counter this one? No, he's going to counter that. maybe if I go with this one, she'll go for that one. It was just a brutal counter back and forth. And at one point, there was an interesting sequence towards the end of the match where Randy was going to do his ring rope DDT, but then Punk counters it into a GTS, but Randy gets off his shoulders and goes for an RKO, but then Punk kicks him while in the RKO. That was an amazing little thing. You had to see it to believe it. It was pretty great. And this is probably the best match I've ever seen these two have. So kudos to them. The end surprisingly comes from a simple schoolboy roll-up. Randy wins. And just when it looked like Randy was gonna celebrate, the new Nexus come out. That's right. Otunga, Joe Perfect, and Welsh Chista Mason Ryan. They come out, they beat the crap out of him. And Mason Ryan is looking all aggro. He's like, no, he's mine. No, get away. It's my meat. Mine. And he was really feeling his aggro. So it looks like he was getting ready to pun him when Punk was like, Ryan, thanks for what you did, but this is a good idea to pun him, but I'll do it. And he's like, no, he's mine. I want the meat, he's mine. And Punk's like, hold it. I'm doing it. Remember, I'm in charge. And Ryan's like, like a pit bull on a leash or something. So, Punk prepares to go for the punt. When Randy gets up, RKO, and he just gets out of the ring. It goes to show you that he can counter that he can hit you with the RKO from anywhere, even from his own move. But yeah, that was Raw. My thoughts? Very good Raw. I mean, the crowd reactions were pretty good. R-Truth's heel turn was surprisingly well done. John Morrison is in the main event like I've always wanted. A lot of people don't like him, but I don't care. I like him. I want to see more of him. I want to see what he can do in the main event. We don't have that many main eventers in the WWE right now. Also, the matches were very good. Specifically, Bourne Ziggler. The tag match was good for Sin Cara, and the main event was, well, the best match on the card, bar none. So there's that. So that was Raw. And like I said, my thoughts, very good Raw. Tune in, you'll like it. My only gripe is I hope Michael Cole gets the worst beating of his life. I hope he bleeds more than fucking Ric Flair, and that's saying something. Joe agrees with me because Michael Cole mentioned his name in the same breath as Sean Connery. And you don't do that to Joe. But anyway, that's Raw. So, I'll see you this Thursday as I review TNA Impact. What kind of backlash will we have? Who will be the #1 contender this time? And kudos to both Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett for wrestling in their conditions. After the match, it turns out that Angle dislocated his shoulder, and Jeff Jarrett broke a couple of ribs. So, I hope you get better, boys. You put on a great match Sunday. There you go. So, until then, this is shintigercurl, that dude in the straw hat, and Joe, saying good night, and wrestle on.